What's up everyone, my name is James Nieves, helping you discover secure mobility. Today we're taking an in-depth look at BlackBerry's latest flagship smartphone, the DTEK60. It launched late in 2016, but comes with some top-of-the-line specs and hardware at a really reasonable price. All of this is bundled with the productivity and security you'd expect from a BlackBerry. Even now, this phone is a steal, keeping close to stock Android and priced well below some of its better-known competitors, such as the Google Pixel XL, iPhone 7 Plus, and Samsung S7 Edge. Starting with the build, around the phone, you get a nice matte aluminum frame with a shiny chrome chamfer at the edges. The front and back are covered in dragon-tailed glass to help keep scratches and fingerprints at bay. To the eye, the device has a soft brown and gray hue, something BlackBerry is calling earth silver. The back is also metallic and not a flat finish. It catches the light in a charming way and is pleasant to look at. Very apparent is the camera module that protrudes from the back of the device to fit the 21 megapixel camera. Coming in at 165 grams, the device has a nice heft to it thanks to the glass back. On the front, you won't find a BlackBerry logo, but you'll find a humble red-only notification LED light opposite the front-facing 8 megapixel camera. Just below the left side power button is the SIM/SD card tray, while on the right side of the device you have a single rocker for volume up and down. There's also a convenience key, which can be set to launch an array of apps and functions within the BlackBerry launcher. At the base of the device you'll find a USB Type-C connector that supports Quick Charge 3.0. Lastly, at the top and bottom of the phone, built into the frame, there are dual-sided stereo speakers. These are great punchy JBL speakers. As they're dual-sided, you'll get even audio whether the device is in hand or tabletop, face up or down. They're built into the overall look of the phone very well. Centered and balanced, they help the device keep its unique look without sacrificing on the audio experience. The 21 megapixel camera on the DTEK60 is one of the weaker points of this device. Now, that being said, for the average user, the camera is perfectly usable and probably better than the one on your current phone. You have tons of manual options, modes, and the like to make it diverse and flexible enough to meet most users' needs. It's only when you really dig deeper into the photos that a trained eye will see some of the low points. It lacks some of the advanced HDR capabilities of other devices, and the module sometimes has a hard time balancing lighting between subjects. Given time and half-decent lighting, the camera does perform remarkably well. Photos are one of those things, like sound, that is very subjective, so please consider reading other reviews and seeing camera samples to get a wider array of input on the matter. In testing, however, the DTEK60 delivered shots that were very good, but not breathtaking. Macro shots came out surprisingly well, whereas some landscape and wide-angle clips looked a bit washed out. The shutter speed is greatly improved over past BlackBerry Androids, and it's great to see 4K and slow-motion video available out of the box. There's some intelligent features such as focus before capture, geotagging, and face detection that can be enabled to make things even more user-friendly. Regardless of the camera bulge in the back of the device, it's still the best camera BlackBerry has ever put to market. There's no optical image stabilization, which hurts low-light performance and video shake, but overall it's a solid module. On the front, there's also an 8 megapixel camera with LED flash, perfect for low-light selfies. This camera can shoot 1080p video at 30 frames a second. The display is Quad HD 2560 by 1440 OLED panel at 534 ppi. Super dense and vibrant, the screen is 5.5 inches, great for viewing on or off the clock. There's an ever so slight curve to the edges of the screen, but this is ultimately just for the aesthetic of the device. The edges drape around the face of the DTEK60, giving off a more premium look and feel. It's also one of the brightest displays we've seen on a BlackBerry, while also being one of the more power efficient. In direct sunlight, the screen will be hard to see unless you really push the brightness to its limits, but overall the viewing angles and color saturation are on point. Deep blacks and impactful colors really make this device shine for reading emails, browsing the web, or even gameplay. The screen is well set between moderate bezels, it has a 24-bit color depth and reproduces colors in a realistic way, without being overly saturated. The screen is just as pixel dense as the Samsung S7 Edge and Google Pixel XL. As mentioned earlier, the glass used to protect the display is dragon-tail glass, which is more or less a cheaper alternative to Gorilla Glass that boasts the same types of benefits. In comparison testing, they perform equally. On the DTEK60 screen, there's also a smudge-resistant coating to reduce fingerprints. It doesn't repel them 100%, but it does make removing them much easier. On the performance side, DTEK60 is rocking 4GB of RAM and one of the most trusted system-on-chips of 2016, the Snapdragon 820. The device ships with Marshmallow 6.0.1 out of the box, and it flies. As a flagship smartphone, it can handle dozens of apps running at a time without stutter or lag. We put the DTEK60 and Pixel head-to-head, and the DTEK60 held its own. If you dig into benchmarks and all that stuff, the device may not score as high as some others in the space, but in real-world, everyday use, the device is absolutely solid. Maps render incredibly fast and remain responsive, games and heavy graphics rendering never resulted in dropped frames, phone calls sounded great, the microphones worked well, Wi-Fi, GPS, NFC, Bluetooth, they all worked consistently. Syncing the DTEK60 to a vehicle was nearly instantaneous, and while streaming Spotify, using the GPS for navigation, incoming BBM notifications, everything held up as expected. BBM voice and video calls worked really well. Can't say enough good things about BBM, which also comes pre-installed on this phone. Performance has been great overall. Coming from the DTEK50 and Priv, users will definitely realize the performance increases made with the DTEK60. It comes GSM unlocked from Shop BlackBerry, has USB Type-C charging, expandable memory up to 2 TB, quad-core processing, and the Adreno 530 graphics chip. On the battery life front, the DTEK60 has a 3000 mAh 4.4 volt non-removable lithium-ion battery that's Quick Charge 3.0 enabled. Faster charging, in this case, easily makes up for the smaller battery. The battery life was pretty average, getting through a full to moderate day on a single charge. However, with Quick Charge, it's very convenient to drop the phone on the charger for 15 to 20 minutes and get a solid 30 to 40% battery gain. The device tends to get a bit warm when charging, but this is normal. Screen on time average in heavy use between 4 to 4.5 hours. A little lower than some other devices, but if you're using your device mainly for emails, phone calls, and web browsing, you can easily squeeze out a day and a half. BlackBerry has also brought over the battery edge from their past Android smartphones. When you plug in the DTEK60, a color-coded band outlines the device, letting you know how much time you have remaining till you're fully charged. Because the device can charge so quickly with compatible Quick Charge 3.0 chargers, it was a bit superfluous of a feature. But if users want an at-a-glance look at the charge level in a very ambient, unobtrusive way, this is a great little feature. You can, of course, turn it off if you don't want it. And there you have it, folks, the DTEK60 smartphone from BlackBerry. Premium hardware, rock-solid software, with continual and swift monthly security updates. Underneath, BlackBerry has baked in a secure bootloader, the device runs fully encrypted, and you're sure to have oversight on what your apps are doing with the onboard DTEK software. You get the integrated BlackBerry Hub, calendar, contacts, and other stock applications to keep you productive, while also having the flexibility of full Android and millions of apps. This phone should probably cost $100 more than it does, but BlackBerry has set a very appealing $499 US price tag, so it's easy to recommend any of the BlackBerry DTEK smartphones to potential buyers. DTEK60 is a standout, and it goes to show that the third time's the charm. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing. I'm James, and I'll catch you in the next one.